Hello and welcome to the Weekend Review, a show that brings you up to date on the week that was. Here are the top stories. After a famous win, Congress and allies squabble over cabinet berths. It's game up for LTTE, but Sri Lankan Tamils still facing an uncertain future. Jet finds way to higher revenue, beats rival to West Asia routes. For all that and more, stay with me. I'm Vaishali Jain. Politics dominated the proceedings this week. After an impressive victory on Saturday, when Congress party leaders sat down to constitute a cabinet, they hit a roadblock. More of that later, but first, here's some news from Sri Lanka. It's the end of the LTTE, but peace for Sri Lankan Tamils may still be far away. With the death of the LTTE chief Prabhakaran, Sri Lanka is looking forward to a time of peace. But the military victory over the Tigers is not seen as a lasting solution to the Tamil problem in the country. The root of the issue, the hostility faced by the Sri Lankan Tamils, continues. And while President Rajapaksa has pledged to resettle most of the 300,000 Tamils displaced by the war within 6 months, he may find this is easier said than done. To talk about the prevailing situation in Sri Lanka and India's concerns, we have with us Hindustan Times foreign editor Amit Barua. So, Amit, this may be the end of Tamil militancy in Sri Lanka, but does this mean lasting peace?
Firstly, we must have enough attention paid to the internally displaced people. Their relief and rehabilitation is an absolute necessity. There are no excuses any longer available to the Sri Lankan government not to do this. So I do believe that there is a real opportunity as long as the Sri Lankan government doesn't pursue a pro-Sinhala approach, but takes a national approach to the issues confronting not just the Tamil people, but the entire country.
So what role can India play in the future?
You would have already seen that our Foreign Secretary and National Security Advisor were in Colombo yesterday. They have discussed the contours of a huge rehabilitation package. Already India has been sending, we have been running a field hospital, we have sent family packs to Sri Lanka. I think India needs to do a lot more. Our concerns for ordinary Tamils will only be legitimate if we actually do something for them. The need of the hour is to help these people.
Okay, thanks, Amit. And moving on, the success of the Congress in the general elections came as a surprise even to the party itself. And with its victory came offers of unsolicited support from political parties like the SP and the BSP and other smaller groups, taking the Congress strength in Parliament to well over 300. Meanwhile, with far worse than expected results, the BJP is consoling itself, saying it's now the only real opposition to the Congress. To explain what was remarkable and unique about the 2009 Lok Sabha election, I'm joined by S. Srinivasan, our executive editor.
See, the outcome of elections are significant because of many reasons. One is the electorate has opted for stability and continuity, and this is important at a time when India is facing economic crisis as the rest of the globe. Second is the electorate has opted for a national party and a single party-led governance rather than a messy coalition. Third, it has preferred national parties over regional parties. Fourth, the elections have showed that there is a spectacular revival of Congress, at least in some states like Uttar Pradesh. Now, if you turn to BJP, it's been a major loss for them. It clearly showed that the BJP has failed to come out with an alternative plan for governance. Now, if you turn to left parties, their opposition to the nuclear deal has perhaps come out as a major factor. The other thing is they imagined that they will be forming a third front, which was a last-minute decision, perhaps, that blew in their face. Now, finally, if you come to other regional allies like Lalu Prasad Yadav or Paswan, it's perhaps a signal to them that don't be too opportunistic or so opportunistic.
Okay, thanks, Srinivasan. Moving on, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh took oath with 19 newly elected members of Parliament on Friday. He'll expand his cabinet later as allies continue to drive a hard bargain as a price for their support. For Congress's two major pre-poll allies, DMK and TMC, the party's strong showing in the elections has meant less bargaining power for them. While the DMK, with 18 seats, continue to stick to its demand for 4 cabinet berths, the Congress is willing to part with only 2 cabinet seats. And the Trinamool, with 19 seats, is insisting on 1 more than the DMK. Another ally, the National Conference, has been assured a cabinet berth for its leader, Farooq Abdullah, when the first expansion takes place.
Prime Minister was very kind. He spoke to me last night and said the difficulties that they're having with the the DMK. They want to sort that out. And it doesn't mean the world has come to an end. There is always a future.
Meanwhile, hectic negotiations had done little to end the stalemate with the DMK, even as Manmohan Singh prepared for his swearing in on Friday, along with key cabinet ministers. Jet Airways has been allowed by the Aviation Ministry to expand its services to West Asia. With some 6 million Indians estimated to be working in the region, the airline was quick to expand into lucrative routes. But while Jet's rival Kingfisher doesn't operate in West Asia yet, large carriers expanding into the region would make the going tough for smaller carriers such as SpiceJet, which are also looking to fly international routes next year. We have our aviation correspondent Tarun Shukla with us to discuss this. So, Tarun, how does the permission granted to Jet to operate West Asian routes affect smaller carriers?
Basically, if you look at it, the number of airlines that started coming up in the past 3-4 years are now completing their tenure to fly international. The existing rules mandate that once you are 5 years old and 20 aircraft, only then you can fly international. So with Jet taking most of the bilaterals, the new carriers that will come in, they will have problems in terms of finding the routes where the bilaterals are already not exhausted. So they will really have to look at routes which do not have as many flights as there are in some other routes, and then choose the sector that they would like to fly.
And what are the implications for the struggling aviation industry in India?
If you look at the Middle Eastern routes are very lucrative for the airlines in India because they are under this 5-hour band, and airlines don't need new aircraft to fly them, and the revenue per passenger on these sectors are very good. So this is perhaps a great opening for the airlines to better their yields, and which is why you see most of these struggling carriers trying to look up to flying international, either when they complete 5 years or when we have the new government, which will possibly may look at allowing them to fly even before they complete 5 years.
Okay, thanks, Tarun. And that's all we have for you this week. Thanks for watching.